Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for hosting me at the beginning of this very important series of meetings regarding reimagining tomorrow together. I believe it's very important to envision tomorrow after the unique and hard first half of 2020 that we've all experienced together. Let me, in the next few minutes, try and share with you what we are envisioning for Egypt in 2020 and the years to come, what we dream and think of, what we plan in building Digital Egypt. Digital Egypt, as we envision it, stands over three prime pillars. The first is the digital transformation, which pertains to digitalizing all the government services that we render to our citizens and be able to avail it through digital means. The second pillar is the creation of an experienced, wide, diversified pool of digital skills that would help build Digital Egypt and, equally important, export digital services to our neighbors and friends throughout the world. The third is fostering an ecosystem that helps digital innovation and enables our young people to think with a high level of creativity, innovation, and encourage entrepreneurship in the ICT realm. These three pillars stand over three bases that are equally important. The first is an inclusive digital economy, and I'll come to this in a minute. The second is a secure and resilient ICT infrastructure that would help carry all this ecosystem. And third is the governance through an efficient and modern legislative framework that secure and govern the entire digital ecosystem of Egypt, or Digital Egypt. For the sake of brevity, I will try and share with you a few initiatives and projects that relate to each of these pillars in order to try and shed light on what we're trying to do with each of these elements of building Digital Egypt. Let me start with the digital transformation, or digitalizing the government services, which is extremely important for improving the level of satisfaction of the Egyptian citizens towards the services that the government is availing to them. We started last year in Port Said by building a portal for all the government services, around 170 various government services across most of the ministries and government entities that render services to our citizens. This year, we are rolling out this pilot for the entire country. We built a new portal, Digital Egypt, and we are rolling out services in consecutive waves on this portal. We've started with three sets of services that we believe are important to a wide sector of Egyptian citizens: the notary public services, the driving and car license renewals, and the subsidy cards for those who are eligible for subsidies in Egypt. This is a wide sector in Egypt. These three bundles of services, each bundle encompass a set of services pertaining to this bundle, whether it's the license, as I said, or the notary public services or the subsidy cards. All these services can be obtained through the portal or through a set of outlets that we've also availed in order to ensure that the service is covering the entire spectrum of Egyptian citizens, those who are IT savvy and can use the portal or mobile applications that also render the same services, or those who are not yet comfortable with using technology can obtain the same service through the postal offices and a call center that we are now establishing for these services. We've also started another set of government to businesses services that are equally important. Through the portal, lawyers can start lawsuits. Also, all the services pertaining to the investment authority can be obtained through a portal dedicated for investment services, and the notary public services that are available for citizens are also available for the business. We've started this project in July as a pilot. Now we have around 50,000 citizens registered on the portal. We're going to continue the pilot project for maybe a few weeks more until we're sure that the whole system is extremely stable and ready for a wide public launch for the entire country. Also, we're starting a series of projects to transform Egypt's most vital sectors, those who are relevant to a wide number of citizens, in order, again, to ensure that it helps improve the quality of life of the Egyptian citizens by improving the level and quality of service that the government can render to the citizens. First is the digitalization of the government operation itself, and this is tied to the move of the government to the new administrative capital. When the government moves to the new capital, it's not a geographical move, but rather a complete transformation in the way that the government operates. We envision the government in the new capital operating as a collaborative government, a paperless government, a one-stop shop government for the citizens, a government that is capable of transferring data and knowledge between the different organs of the government in order to facilitate the services that citizens obtain from the government. So the citizen will not be, again, required to go to more than one government entity in order to obtain a multifunction service that he or she is requiring. Rather, one stop at one government entity, and this government entity that is facing the citizen will be capable of obtaining all the necessary knowledge and documents from other government entities in order to render the service for the citizen. Another extremely important project that we have started in 2019 and now we're rolling out is the health insurance automation project. Health insurance, for those of you who are specialized in ICT, know that it is one of the most complex projects to implement, and many countries have tried and have not encountered success in similar projects. We were able to accomplish the implementation of the health insurance automation new system that has been installed in Egypt in 2019, again in Port Said as a pilot. This year we were supposed to roll it out in several governorates. Maybe it is delayed for a few months due to the pandemic. However, we're now in collaboration with the Ministry of Health ready to roll it out. The system is fully automated, starting from the enrollment of the citizens into the systems, the eligibility of the citizens to various services, all the way to the financial part of the system and reconciliation of the transactions. The second project that is also important is the law enforcement project that entails the automation of all the operation of the government, the law enforcing agencies, starting by the police stations to the public prosecution, onwards to the courts issuing the verdicts, and then back to the public prosecution and police officers to enforce the verdict and apply whatever has been issued by the courts. All this system is now automated in 5 governorates tied together, the police officers, the public prosecution, and the courts. Now we are studying the rollout to the rest of the country. This is an intricate system that has required a huge culture change and a huge human transformation in the way these well-established organizations has been operating for decades, if not centuries, and to move it into an automated ecosystem was a bit of a challenge. Third project that we have started before the pandemic, but I have to confess that the pandemic did accelerate the project and raise its priority, and more important, has also expanded the project. We started pre-COVID-19 with the automation of the exams in a segment of the Egyptian universities. Post-COVID, we have decided to extend the scope of the project to cover all the faculties in all the government universities, 27 universities, not only the exams, but the entire pedagogical process will be automated. The learning management will be automated. The content authoring and content management will be automated. The correspondence and communication between the students and the faculty, the entire academical process will be automated in all government universities in the next 12 months. A huge project that we are implementing in collaboration with the Ministry of Higher Education and plan to finish in 12 months, as I said. For the sake of brevity, I will not elaborate into further projects that we are also trying to implement in different government organizations with other ministries that are collaborating on this. And they all constitute the first pillar, as I said, the digital transformation of the Egyptian government. Moving to the second pillar in building digital Egypt is the skill pool. And this, I believe, is of vital importance. Egypt cannot stand as one of the pioneering countries in the ICT international community without having a diversified, wide skill pool that are specialized, well experienced in different specializations and disciplines of the modern ICT sciences. This we are trying to accomplish by building these skills, by rolling out tens of training programs that I'll present to you in a minute in brief. This will help create jobs that are relevant to ICT, whether jobs in the ICT sector or jobs that required people who are aware of the technology and capable of exploiting technology in whatever specialization they are taking as a profession. These two elements help not only grow the ICT GDP, but equally important, help us in creating a digital pool that would expand the digital exports of Egypt to its neighbors and other countries around the world. We're also trying to install a governance framework to this ecosystem by building an automated skill bank that would help us envision the various skills that are present in the country, the skill gaps that we need to work on, the specializations that we need to build, and the market requirements, whether the local domestic market or the regional or international market requirements that we should be planning to help cover in the near future. When we started this program back in 2018, the number of trainees that MCIT was benefiting in a year was 4,000. We moved in 2019 to around 13,000 and started building outlets and tech hubs that would help expand the number. And then we were targeting to reach 20,000 in 2020, onwards to 25,000 in 2021. However, we got more ambitious as we moved along, and this year we are training 120,000 young people on various ICT skills. 120,000 in the present fiscal year versus 4,000 a couple of years back. We're doing this in collaboration with tens of distinguished international companies whom we are partnering with, to also universities whom we're partnering with in order to help us deliver the right content, the right level of training to our youth in order to, as I said, expand and diversify our skill pool in the ICT community. This is coupled with several initiatives around helping people with skills in freelancing, remote work. Also, we're mandating now that all projects that are implemented by MCIT has at least 10% awarded to SMEs in order to encourage SMEs in the ICT sector and ensure that they have their fair share in the business that MCIT is offering in the ICT market. Another project that maybe concretize the entire ICT strategy that we're trying to implement in MCIT is the knowledge city that we are building in the new administrative capital. The phase one of the knowledge city has 4 buildings. Each has a mission that is extremely relevant to one of the pillars of our strategy in building Digital Egypt. The first is an R&D center that is concerned with applied research and collaboration with various international companies and universities that would produce solutions that has a positive impact on challenges that we're trying to confront in Egypt in various sectors like agriculture, healthcare, irrigation and water management, environment, and other important sectors. The second building is the first building of the new informatics university that we are building. EUI, Egypt's University of Informatics. It is the first university specialized in informatics in the Middle East and Africa. We will start the university in the academic year 21-22. We are currently busy with communicating with international academic institutes around the world in order to partner with to enrich the pedagogical operation within this university, the Egypt's University of Informatics. The third building that I'm maybe specifically and emotionally tied to is the Academy of Assistive Technology. It's a new mission that MCIT is undertaking to foster an innovation ecosystem around creating and developing solutions that would help people with special needs confront their challenges. And last but not least is a new institute to offer various training programs to our youth in the administrative capital. The last slide was the design of these buildings, and maybe the present slide is how they look like in reality now. We're going to be able to finish the project in the coming few months, inshallah. Let me move to the second pillar in our strategy to build Digital Egypt, which is the digital innovation and trying to, as I said, foster an ecosystem that would encourage our youngsters think creatively and encourage them to start their new businesses, break the barrier of starting a new project or starting an entrepreneurial career. We are starting a set of centers that are built within the campuses of 7 different universities, Creativa hubs, as we call them. There are 7 tech hubs in the governorates that show on the slide across the country. But by the way, the logo is the logo of MCIT, Sachet, the goddess of knowledge and information storage in ancient Egypt. We're taking this as our logo, and we're using it also for these Creativa centers. The slide before you shows the design of these buildings, and next would show you how they look like in reality. 6 of them are ready for operation in the coming few days, and maybe the third in the coming few weeks. By the end of this year, is going to be also open for the youth in Aswan. We're also starting two in Cairo, but maybe a bit different. One in Heliopolis, where we took a beautiful old palace that we are restoring and turning into an innovation hub. Also an ancient plant or factory there in Giza, in front of Cairo University, that we are also turning into a training center and innovation hub for the students of Cairo University and its graduates. Second phase will entail 3 more hubs in Alexandria, Tanta, and Zaqaziq, and then another 2 in Banha. So this is what we're trying to do in order, as I said, to encourage our young people to start their own career and their own businesses in the ICT sector. We're trying to stimulate the logic. We're trying to transform the culture from seeking a job in a company to building your own company. We're trying to foster creativity and innovation, and we're trying to expand the level of sophistication of the ICT community among the young people. Let me move to the bases that are equally important to these 3 pillars and enable all the projects and initiatives that pertains to each of the pillars that I have tried to explain. The first is the infrastructure, and what we're trying to do to increase our ICT infrastructure capabilities and efficiency. Back in January 2019, the average speed of fixed broadband in Egypt was 6.5 megabits per second. We ranked the 40th in Africa. We started a huge project to transform the level of service that we're availing to our citizens that pertains to fixed broadband. This month, the average speed of the fixed broadband is 31.4 megabit per second. We have increased by 5-folds in 1.5 years. I believe this project was essential for the country, and it enabled the ICT infrastructure to satisfy the demands of the citizens that doubled during the peak of the pandemic back in the first half of 2020. Second important project is a network of fiber optic cables that we are building throughout the country to link 32,000 government buildings together in order to increase the level of resilience and continuity of service of all the government services that I have described at the beginning of my deliberation, and that is planning to increase in number of services. It was essential to couple this with a reliable mesh of infrastructure cables that would ensure resilience and continuity of these services to our citizens throughout the country. The project has started. We've accomplished around 5,000 with a budget of £6 billion. Another base that is equally important is the legislative framework that we are building in Egypt to govern the ICT sector. Several bills have been already promulgated. Maybe last was the data protection law that was promulgated a few months back. We're now working in order to set up the regulator of data that the law stipulates. We have a few months according to the law in order to accomplish this. By promulgating this law, now we have a set of legislations that ensure a well-governed ICT ecosystem. We have the data protection, we have the cyber crime law, we have the IP rights law, and the consumer protection law as well. We are now studying if there is a need for a legislative framework specifically for the e-commerce, or the current set of laws cover and regulates the e-commerce adequately. We're still studying this specific point, but in general, we do have a complete and well-distributed set of laws that do cover, as I said, the entire sphere of ICT activities. Are we there? Not yet, but I believe the figures show that we are on a positive trajectory and en route to building Digital Egypt. The ICT sector grew 15.2% in the last fiscal year, up to 108 billion pounds. The contribution of the ICT sector to the GDP is north of 4%, which is growing year on year again with substantial numbers. So we're happy that we're contributing further to the GDP. We're aspiring for 8% in the coming 2 years. We're also aspiring for a growth of 16% in the fiscal year that has started in July of 2020, despite the pandemic challenges. We're also happy with a 35% growth rate in the ICT investments in the current fiscal year. We're aspiring for more in the coming one. So the build of Digital Egypt is intense. It is a project that the entire country is working on. It's not only MCIT, not only the government, but the entire country is busy working and determined to succeed in building Digital Egypt. Thank you very much.